It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Wednesday, July the 5th. I hope everybody had a wonderful 4th of July, because that would be great, because I sure as hell didn't.
No?
Learned a lot about myself over the last couple days, folks. I'm getting old, but I'm not too old to still get accidentally drunk and spend the whole day in bed with a hangover. Happy Independence Day, everybody. I was chained to the bed, wondering where it all went so wrong. Everybody blew it out yesterday. You're barbecuing, you're grilling out, whatever you call it. You're drinking, you're having fun with friends. Me, at home with my wife, no, just barely able to move. Because on Monday night, a very calm night at home. Make a little dinner, have a little wine, and then at some point I thought I think I need a gin and tonic.
Yeah.
Or 9. Or I don't even know. But I literally did it was like freshman year of college kegger. I went from 0 to 100 without realizing I was even on the track. And then 1 minute, everything's fine. And the next, boy, how did this happen? Some sort of miscommunication. And then, and again, we don't need to go into the sordid details of late night Monday night, but I can tell you, Tuesday, after barely sleeping, just spent the whole day racked with old guy hangover, which I don't get very often. And boy, it's going to be a while again. Anybody actually have a good 4th of July yesterday? Zepp, were you in any kind of fighting shape?
I fell short of the finish line. I passed out like you. First of all, 4-day weekends.
Yeah,
what a dream, right? 4 days of just getting after it. No, I'm good for 3, 2.5, really, which is what I was able to pull off.
You peaked.
Exactly. Charged hard family, South Dakota, which is always mayhem.
Sure.
We got like 4 families that get together out there, and that had all your drinking and fireworks and drama, because we have the hardcore conservatives and the hardcore liberals at some point in the day deciding they don't want to be together anymore.
The electric charge of families were 30% more alcohol.
Oh, 30%. Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, whiskey, beer, and then back to the whiskey, then back to the beer. And and now we have those 20-year-olds in the family that are pouring shots of I don't know what. And so then Monday I decided to keep charging right on up with some friends. More drama, by the way. The couple that invited us up there, I'm probably going to get in trouble saying this, because it's a local kind of thing, but they decided to break up divorce to everyone in front of everyone they had invited to their home to spend the night and have a good time. But another good time was had somehow.
Wow.
Did they make an announcement? How did they
it just
get that
started
ball
as a
rolling?
big fight, and then we're getting a divorce, and we're like, everybody says that. We've had a few too many cocktails. It's... emotions are running high, and then no, this has been coming on for a while. Let's just tell everyone. Why are we pretending? And I'm like, you're pretending for us, so it's not uncomfortable for us. But so I powered my way through that with more booze, and edibles are all the rage now. So I'm still a little hungover, but yesterday was just a wash. Yesterday was
all right. So far,
like you, spent in bed wondering why, and just asking some hard questions.
So far, 0 for 2. Tone? Anything you can add to the festivities here?
For the 4th, actually, it's pretty nice. I have great neighbors. So we had this, it was like a potluck in the middle of the street, and everybody ate tons and
nice.
Had some beverages and little homemade fireworks on the street. It was lovely.
That is lovely.
That's America.
Give us 40 acres. We're going to turn this rig around.
Yeah.
Okay, Tony, thank you for the positivity.
Yes.
And now, bring it home, the anchor leg of the relay. I know Candace Wheeler had an incredible 4-day weekend because I saw your Instagram posts. You are now officially the mayor of Los Angeles. Is that correct?
Yes, it was announced today. No, I'm just kidding. It was amazing. Yesterday I felt great. Went to the Roosevelt pool all day and hung out by the pool. But just had a little rock and roll weekend. There's just something about LA. It makes me feel very amazing and special. And I went to see Robbie Krieger at the Whiskey A Go-Go, and that was amazing.
Robbie Krieger at the Whiskey A Go-Go,
Yeah.
60 almost years after he probably first played that venue.
Yeah, it was
the Doors were famously playing there in the summer of '66 as a regular feature. So still doing it, and it was a good show.
Yeah, it was. I had a spiritual awakening.
Well, okay,
And
fair
then,
enough. Back to the
yeah.
edibles, I guess.
It was just amazing, and going to the Rainbow for dinner before. It's just there's so much rock and roll history in LA that just
You
makes me
went to the
feel-
Rainbow
Oh, I
for
spent
dinner?
a lot of time at the Rainbow.
Oh my God, I can't talk about things I can't believe still exist.
Oh, it's amazing.
Okay, so I also saw on your post you hit Pink's Hot Dogs.
Yes, I had the Aussie dog, which was very spicy, but
Okay.
it was very fun to go there.
I'm partial to the bacon burrito double dog myself.
Okay, yeah, it was hard to choose.
Ooh, baby. And then you saw the Beach Boys at the Hollywood Bowl?
Yeah, we met a nice man who decided to buy us tickets to go see the Beach Boys.
Oh, I've heard that story before. A couple of aspiring starlets in L.A. Next thing you know, you're at a Beach Boys concert. Next thing you know, you're in a cult up in Topanga.
No, but that was so cool. John Stamos was there. It was amazing. And
John
they did
Stamos
fireworks.
is the nice man who bought you tickets to the Beach Boys? Am I getting my lines
Yeah,
crossed?
anything's possible in the City of Angels. So.
That's very true. The City of Angels, the City of Angels, who also, for depending on if you get out of there in one piece or not, the City of Devils. They're on both your shoulders. So were you out there? Did you get back to Minnesota yesterday or this
Yesterday.
morning? What, did you take a red eye? What happened?
No, we
Okay.
at about 5:30 flight last night. So
Okay.
I'm all right. Yeah, I saw some fireworks from the plane on my way down.
Oh, that's kinda cool.
That was cool. Yeah.
That's very cool. Well, okay, great. So you guys had a really nice fourth, and me and Zepp are just old stupid guys who just overdid it on the third. Talk about, seriously, man, what the hell's wrong with us where we go get absolutely, as they used to say, tore slap up on the third?
Like I said, it was a long distance race, and I sprinted.
Yeah, you and me both. When's the last time? Tony, when's the last time you got accidentally hammered? Usually if I'm going to actually be drunk, I know it ahead of time.
Yeah,
This
I
was
do
like
not,
a complete surprise.
Not accidentally. I like to. I plan for it and I get fired up and I go at it.
I feel like I just stepped on a rake. You know what I mean? Just like, ow! What the hell?
Yeah.
I can't. It's just been a lot. I'm trying to think of the last time I got accidentally wasted. It's really not fun. It's embarrassing. And so, this is my penance. I have to come on the air and share this experience. Literally yesterday, all day long, I just, about once an hour, I'd go, why? Why? Because I just felt awful. And before anyone says hair of the dog, no thanks.
No.
Not a chance.
Right.
What hurt the worst?
Those days are way gone. Just the overall bodily malaise. There was nothing I could eat or drink that would help. There's only so much water you can put down before your kidneys revolt. So I got there, and it was like, okay, enough. You've hydrated. You're still sick. You still feel like a jerk.
Well, you mixed. That's what the problem is too.
It's always the problem.
You mixed your potions.
Yeah.
But again, I've been on this circuit a while now. You know what I mean? I really thought,
Experienced.
It's just a shocker. I guess there was just an extra hard pour on the last round or something. Maybe I left the tonic out of that last one, and I was drinking from a tumbler, so it wasn't like Anyway, all this to say, today though, feeling really good.
All right,
just up all night with fireworks blasting throughout. Not a bit of sleep, but it was sober, not sleeping, and that makes all the difference.
It does make a little bit of a difference. And just think, now it's already Wednesday morning, short week, and in 3 days we get to do it all over again.
Not this guy. No, sir.
Oh, those words. I'll never do that again.
I'm not saying never, but I'm sure as hell saying not this weekend.
All right. Fair enough.
It is time for the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. They call this National Hawaii Day, which is always a little confusing since Hawaii didn't actually join in the country until August 21st, 1959. But it's still National Hawaii Day, so salute to my hometown, my home state. Yeah.
Fair enough. I had no idea.
Yeah. Craziest news since we last spoke, that cocaine found in the West Wing and the White House, in an area that only the president and his relatives and closest advisors are allowed. What do you make of that?
I would imagine there's drugs in the White House every day of every year since that bad boy was built, but that's just me.
This could be.
Listen, if I were keeping tabs on everything happening on planet Earth, I'd be high as a kite. I'm just telling you.
There you go.
If I were charged, I'm not suggesting the president's high. I'm saying I would be.
Yeah, and I would expect you to be.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Love Nugget on June 21st, right here on your show. I said 79-year-old Mick Jagger and his girlfriend of 10 years, 39-year-old Melanie Hamrick, are planning to get married. On Friday afternoon, Mick Jagger confirmed they are getting married this summer. They already have a son on December 8th, 2016. Devereaux Octavian Basil Jagger checked in. It was her first child and Mick's 8th child.
Will you marry me? Got a question. Do you want to get married?
Also, since we last spoke, Michael Jordan finally spoke out about his 32-year-old son Marcus dating Scottie Pippen's 48-year-old ex-wife, Larsa. Michael Jordan says, and I quote, "I don't like it. I don't want to think about it. We don't talk about it."
Yeah, I bet.
Boy, I tell you what, Steve, it is not happy news for Kevin Spacey. Did a little digging over the weekend. He faces 12 various sexual assault charges in London. Now an insider says that they would be surprised if Spacey didn't spend some time in jail. And one of the charges carries a life sentence.
Yo.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it.
There you go. Movie news, two shockers. First, on the bad side, Indiana Jones disaster, failing to break the $100 million mark it was supposed to. On the good side, Angel Films' Sound of Freedom, the true story about child sex trafficking, starring Jim Caviezel, way outperformed all projections. They're still counting their box office. So, boy, Indiana Jones, I was surprised it didn't do better.
I just don't think anybody under 30 could possibly care.
That's possible.
It just seems like such an old school, that's going all the way back to the 80s.
And he is 80.
Yeah, exactly.
Odds and ends, LSU super hottie Olivia Dunn is taking full advantage of the new NIL, name, likeness, image, that allows college athletes to make money. Olivia has already banked $3.4 million in endorsements and signed some mystery company to another $500,000 last week to have a press release on what company it is next week.
What is this young athlete's name?
Her name is Olivia Dunn, blonde
gymnast at LSU.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I have seen something about her before. Wow.
Well, the writer's strike is still on. Now, SAG says by July 12th they'll decide whether or not they're going to walk. Another union might walk, threatening they're all going out unless the writers get a secured contract. And now Hollywood has another problem. L.A. hotel housekeepers, dishwashers, cooks, they've all walked out. Nobody's in L.A. anymore. Everybody's gone.
That's because Candace went out there. She left and the whole town fell apart.
Amazing. They're still talking about her at the Hollywood Bowl, but that's another story.
Wow.
And this is very odd. We don't know how many, if any, of the Madonna concerts will take place, but since her illness, ticket sales have actually jumped 15%.
Yeah, they know what they're doing over there at the World of Madge.
Yeah, good for her. Good for her. Hope she gets well soon. Hey, hope everybody had a great holiday, and we'll do it again tomorrow from Hollywood. See you.
See you, Mike. Thanks, brother. The Mike Evans Hollywood Report, a fixture around these parts. Hey, I had a chat with Mike Evans last week, off air. Just catching up. I was in Atlanta playing a gig with my band Bagmen, and got a call from Mike, and I don't remember a single thing we talked about, but we had a nice chat. It was really nice.
How about that?
I was in Atlanta traffic, which is something that's been happening there since the 70s. Oh. And, I was just kind of, I don't even remember. But it'll come back to me and I'll share it with you because there was something about that conversation that was riveting, I'm sure. No, he's a good guy, man. I like Mike Evans. He's awesome. He's no Joey Chestnut. Let's not kid ourselves. Did anyone watch Joey Chestnut eat 62 hot dogs yesterday?
Well, I watched a YouTube video of it, very anticlimactic after last year's. He took down a protester while he was eating the dogs last year, So this year was sort of underwhelming. That and it was a rain out. The first time I tuned in, it was raining, so I went off to the next channel.
A rain delay for a hot dog eating contest. Nathan's Hot Dogs on Coney Island. It's an indoor establishment. You could have just moved it in, I would have thought. But anyway, so this guy, Joey Chestnut, he comes up once a year. And every time I hear it, I think Jimmy Chitwood. And then I go, no, Joey Chestnut. Wasn't Jimmy Chitwood like a stunt driver back in the 70s or something?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Joey Chitwood.
Joey Chitwood.
Race car driver.
Okay. Yeah. That's who I always think we're talking about. And then I realize, oh, no, it's just the hot dog guy. 62 hot dogs in about 10 minutes yesterday. By the way, the most astounding fact about watching that man gorge himself with hot dogs, the winner of the Nathan's Hot Dog Contest wins a cash prize of, I would have said, geez, I don't know, it's on ESPN, $500,000, a mil, $10,000. That's it. $10,000 to put 62 hot dogs down your gullet in 10 minutes.
Contestants are winning like $500,000 just for playing tic-tac-toe on TV. That's
right. Now, he has endorsements, if you can believe that. He does appear in other competitions, and he makes, at least $500,000 a year all told for being a guy who just eats a lot of food. But I'm sorry, the Nathan's hot dog thing, it's on national television every year. $10,000. Someone needs an agent. Right. That's all I'm saying. Somebody needs something.
I mean, this is probably, I think he's probably, I would argue, the most elite athlete in the United States. I mean, take any professional sports guy, even the big offensive linemen, the centers for the NBA team. 64 hot dogs, they may not be able to do it. And by the way, after he plowed through his, would you say 64, 62, 60-some hot dogs, going out for a few beers.
I feel great. I'm just happy. It's 4th of July, and I got to eat some hot dogs and get a win. I got leftover room, so I'll be having some beers later.
Mm-hmm. That's how you get the hot dogs out.
That's one way to do it for sure.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Wednesday, July the 5th. Good morning. We certainly hope everybody had a fine 4th of July. If you had a full-on 4-day weekend, even the better. But if you were working on Monday, let's not kid ourselves. You just kind of half-assed it. I mean, who goes in and really puts their shoulder to the wheel on Monday, July 3rd? Not this guy.
No,
I can tell you that much.
God, especially if you have like an office job. Who makes people come in? I mean, if you're in, the service industry, obviously you probably work your tail off, serving those of us who had the day off. Right. But yeah, who just has an office job has to go out on Monday the 3rd? Come on.
Man, it's one of those golden moments when you realize it's a Tuesday. We'll probably get Monday off too. Yeah, baby. Mm-hmm. But we're back to the grind today. It's Wednesday. If you're just joining us, maybe you had a big event over the 4th of July you want to share. I mean, we're always easy. We happily hear. We love to hear your stories as well. I mean, we've told ours. Zepp and I did ourselves in. On the 3rd, we're old men and we drank too much, and then we had a horrible 4th. Whereas Tony and Candace had fully respectable, wonderful times. So we're batting 500. It could be worse.
Well, we're patriots.
Well, that's exactly what that is, Tony.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I did the patriotic thing. I did exactly what Americans do. Too much over the long weekend.
Sure. Well, that's a good point, too. Yeah, I was patriotic. I showed those English gin makers what I thought of their stuff. Or they showed me. I'm really still trying to make sense of what happened. But speaking of trying to make sense of what happened, a few people in Wisconsin, 8 to be exact, were stuck on Sunday for 3 hours. They were not in an elevator. They were not in traffic. They were upside down on a roller coaster that stopped.
Oh, Lord.
3 hours upside down on a roller coaster. I'm a big roller coaster guy. Always have been. Always ridden them. It's been a few years now, and when I saw this story, my first thought was, I think I'm done. My roller coaster career is over. I mean, not that I'm worried I'll be stuck upside down, but it just hit me like, oh, it'd probably hurt my back if I got on a roller coaster right now, or my neck would go out or something. Who knows? I just thought, well, 58 years old next month. I think I don't need to get on a roller coaster. I just don't need to book a chiropractic visit because I was trying to have fun. And plus, my kids are long since old enough where they don't need me to be with them. So that said, I'm officially announcing my roller coaster retirement today on July 5th, 2023. But these guys were upside down again, for 3 hours. This was at a county fair. First mistake in Crandon, Wisconsin. If you're going to get on a roller coaster, get on one that's there all year long.
Right.
Don't go to one that's set up and then taken down and, assembled and disassembled in anything less than, say, 6 or 8 month spans.
Right. Listen, I know it's a low-hanging fruit to pick on carnies. We love to do it around State Fair time here every year.
Yeah.
However,
well, sure.
I mean, you're just talking about people that, are vagabonds. They're gypsies. They're traveling around. Did they get all the bolts tightened down? Did they? I'm just thinking if I'm on the crew. What if I'm on the crew? Don't ever get on a roller coaster that I've assembled. Yeah, so the county ones, something. And regulators, can they even keep up with these things? Where are they going? This is the fire captain over there in Wisconsin. I forget where this was. Somewhere
Crandon.
Near Green Bay. Brennan Cook talking about the mechanical failure and rescues.
All we know is that there was a mechanical failure with the ride where it became stuck up in the upright position. The ride was recently inspected by the state of Wisconsin here on site, and at this time we don't have any other information. Families are being reunited with people as they come down off of the ride from the rescuers, and everybody seems to be doing as best as they can given the circumstances.
A little melodramatic we're reuniting people with their families after 3. How long do you think you could hang upside down?
Oh my God.
3 hours. They said they all ran to the hospital just to make sure. But wouldn't that much blood in your brain? That can't be a good thing. I know your heart's still pumping. Right. I know it's still trying to do its job. But eventually, gravity's going to win that fight, right?
What if you have to pee?
Pee
upside down. You're going to pee upside down. Oh,
do what I got to do, man.
Turn your head up your nose.
I wonder if anyone out there remembers the mall at the Mall of America, the Mighty Axe, when that got stuck upside down at Camp Snoopy in 1998. I was not on it, but I do remember it happening. I wondered how long it was.
At Camp Snoopy?
Yes, Steve Gorman. There was this beautiful magical wonderland called Camp Snoopy at the Mall of America when I was a child. And it was all Snoopy themed rides and stuff.
And the ride was called what?
The Mighty Axe.
You remember
Snoopy
the Peanuts
had an axe?
Yeah. Remember that?
Really?
Yeah. Well, not everything was Snoopy themed.
It's a little separate.
Was that the Halloween Peanuts episode I missed?
Remember when Charlie Brown just had enough?
Yeah, really? Holy smokes. Lucy, hold the football again. This ride in Wisconsin, by the way, it's called the Fireball. That's a problem right there, because then I'm immediately thinking of cinnamon-tinged whiskey, which nothing good ever happens with Fireball. And then secondly, it's that we're saying it's a roller coaster. Actually, all it is one giant loop. It's a ride that just goes in a loop over and over and over. You're asking for trouble if you're going to get on that thing. That just sounds to me like that's an invitation to disaster waiting to happen. And by the way, also over the weekend at an amusement park in Charlotte, North Carolina, a guy was in the riding rides, and she's on a roller coaster, so he's standing near it, watching the way you do, especially when your kid's on a roller coaster. You're like, oh, maybe I'll see her arm as she flies by, or maybe I'll see her hat fly off her head. And he notices at the highest point of this very tall roller coaster, the tallest roller coaster, I believe, in the state of North Carolina, as the car races around a corner, a big curve, the track seems to come apart from the support beam that's holding it. And he's like, wait, did I just see that? So he waits, gets his camera out, and he shoots a video of the next ride. And sure enough, the pole, the support pole that's 80 feet tall, is separating from the track itself as the car races around that curve. Oh, Lord. His daughter had been on that ride 8 times already that day. He said, the dude takes the video right to a park employee and goes, look at this. Now, to everyone's credit, they immediately shut the ride down. They said, we're done for the day. The mayor of Jaws didn't show up and say, it's the 4th of July weekend. We can't shut this roller coaster down.
They're not going to ride the rides here. They'll just go down the road to the other carnival.
Exactly. Thankfully, someone did shut it down, and there were no injuries reported. Yeah. But the idea of... I have a daughter who loves roller coasters. If I had been with her at a park and I'm watching her on a ride and I see separation from track to support pole, I'm not going about anything calmly at that moment, not at all.
Well, and over the years, and like you, I love to ride roller coasters, just don't do it much anymore. But I was thinking, we all took our kids, but how many of our grandparents took us on a roller coaster? So there is an aging out of the process, I think. Now we'll see a 102-year-old rode a roller coaster for her birthday tomorrow in the news or something like that. But I've always wondered, these things seem like they've been around forever. They look older than some of these tractors that I've rode around on when I was a kid. And I'm surprised there aren't more malfunctions, but I think it's starting to catch up. There was the one in Sweden last week. A person killed, 9 injured in a roller coaster crash. I don't remember exactly what happened, but part of the roller coaster really had jettisoned and derailed, then off.
Gosh.
Yeah, some kid was killed, 10 people
Terrible.
hurt. Roller coasters are falling apart.
Man, what is the world coming to?
Not a lot of bad infrastructure out there.
Yeah,
I don't know. It makes me want to be the grandfather when I get on the roller coaster and go, now, when was the last time this was inspected? Do you have a sticker? Is there a sticker with a date on it saying, June of 2023?
Mm-hmm. Well, I can tell you this. You can't trust roller coasters anymore. Like so many things in a modern world, like so many people, I should say, a lot of times you're like, I can't take the news anymore. I can't look at social media anymore. I just got to get out and go for a hike. I got to get away from it all. I'm gonna go walk around Lake Harriet. Maybe I don't have to go all the way out to a state park. Maybe I'll just do it in town. This was the case in Massachusetts. A few days ago, a woman named Emma Tituski, who is a big nature lover, she cuts out regularly, and in fact, a friend said she goes out to the woods to pray. She did just that. She went for a hike, and no one saw her for a few days. And then on July 3rd, some hikers heard what they thought were screams, and they were like, "What is that noise we're hearing?" They come across Emma Tituski. They can't see her, but they hear her. She is stuck out in a swamp in mud and had been for several days.
Yeah.
Like up to, I would have to assume it's at least waist deep or maybe it's just up to her knees, but still, she was stuck. She literally standing still in mud for several days before someone finally heard her screams.
Holy freaking nightmare.
Yeah. Conscious and alert as officials got her out of the swamp, but she said it is believed she had been there for at least 3 full days.
Oh, my gosh.
Stuck in the mud. We used to play a game at the pool called Stuck in the Mud. Never really thought about that being a real thing. Now, if you said this was quicksand, I'd be like, well, sure, I've seen Johnny Quest. I know that can happen.
Yeah.
But no, she's just stuck in the mud in Massachusetts in a preserve. Holy smokes.
I can't even go for a walk. You're right. It's dangerous out there.
It's no matter where you are, it's dangerous. And I can only imagine what it sounded like, her screams after 3 days. She probably didn't have much of a voice left. It's really good they heard her when they did, if she's been screaming for 3 days. I was in Western Massachusetts myself in 2018 in the fall. I was making a record. A band asked me to come up and play on their album, and I was staying at an Airbnb, like a cabin in the woods, remote place, a few miles from the town where the studio was, which I loved. I was thrilled to be out there. I had just literally spent like 10 months writing a book, and I was in a book bubble. And when I came out of it, this is the first thing I did, and it was a great emotional and mental clearinghouse to be in the woods. We had a nice snowy night one night. Western Massachusetts got 18 inches of snow. It was gorgeous. And I'm laying in bed thinking about, life, dozing off. And then I awoke to the sound of screams. Now, it was not a woman stuck in the mud. It sounded like that. Or actually, what it sounded like was children being whipped or something. I thought, oh, my God, someone's torturing kids in the woods.
Sure.
It was, and it was hours before I found out what I was hearing. I was hearing an animal called a fisher cat.
Oh, those
It sounds like this. That's just one. I was hearing 3 or 4 of them having a conversation.
Oh, wow.
And they now a winter night in the woods where sound travels like crazy. There's no leaves on the trees, and I wake up to hearing that times 50, and it just sounded like screaming children, and I was traumatized, thinking, well, whoever's got children out in the woods, they'll take care of me in 2 seconds. But I literally open the door and I'm listening for where it's coming from, and it's coming from multiple directions. And I eventually just shut the door and thought, well, sorry, kids, there's nothing. I'm not running out in the woods in the dark with an iPhone spotlight on.
Yeah,
that was really all I had going for me. But
when the cops show up the next day and go, you didn't hear anything? Children being no, not a thing. Slept right through it.
I went to the studio the morning, and the guys are like, what's up? And I go, man, I had the weirdest. I heard this. And as soon as I started describing it, they all the guys in all this band, they go, oh, Fisher Cat. I'm like, what? Fisher Cat. I was like, that's a cat? And it's not a cat. It is a small carnivorous mammal native to North America. It is a member of the weasel family.
I was going to say, it looks like a hairy otter.
They call it a Fisher Cat, but it's really just a fisher. For some reason, they decided in Massachusetts, it's a Fisher Cat. Call him a Fisher Cat. He screams like Mary Jo Kopechne. I'm sorry. That's not what it screams like at all. That's terrible.
Yeah,
no, it's just one of those things where I just thought, this is a bad time to learn about the Fisher Cat's existence.
So you didn't find out till the next day. I mean, you spent the night and eventually you fell asleep wondering, oh, my God.
I did. I finally went back to sleep thinking, I was like, well, this must be... It must be an animal, or it's a recording that someone's messing with me. I mean, I was thinking everything. But my first thought was someone's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
I got to see if I can help. And then I look at it, and there's just nothing but darkness, an expanse of woods. And then that's when I'm like, why am I staying in a remote cabin? Why did I think this was the place for me?
Probably why the cabin is remote is because there's Fisher Cats out there. Yeah. No one wants to move.
That's probably a good point. That's exactly right.
Someone else was working on a cabin and went, nah, hell no.
No doubt.
Take her back a little closer to civilization. Any flights over Candace, you had a flight over the weekend. Anybody melt down? Anybody get weird on your flight?
No, it was smooth sailing. It was a good flight.
I like it when crazy people look crazy. This woman looks completely normal, like you just pass her on any old street here in Minnesota, but more crazy audio from a flight over the weekend. I know it. Have you heard this? It's disturbing. It's Fisher Cat disturbing. That's coming at 7:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Wednesday, July the 5th. Good morning. If you have travel plans anytime soon, please just chill before you get to not even when you get on a plane, chill before you get to the airport. If you need to do something like breathing exercises, stretching exercises, if you need to borrow a Xanax, whatever the hell you got to do, let's just chill. Nobody's happy to be on a plane. We're happy to be going someplace. Nobody's that comfortable on the aluminum tube at 30,000 feet. That's still unnatural. I'm sorry. I get being a little wound up on edge, but man, oh man, post-pandemic, a lot of us have forgotten how to travel. It's team sport out there. We're all on the same plane.
Yeah.
Let's try to keep it together. Of course, then there are people who this does not apply to, because I think they're absolutely, they've truly lost a screw. They've blown a gasket. And yet again, as it seems to be just about every day, yesterday a big situation went down at this was a couple days ago, Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport on an American Airlines flight. A woman on the plane heading for the exit saying, I got to get off this plane because one of the passengers was, quote, not real.
Oh, that's right.
She's looking at someone who's never seen her before, and she's saying that person is not real. Now, of course, more than one of her fellow passengers got their phone out, and it sounded pretty upsetting.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting off, and everyone can either believe it or they cannot believe it. But I am telling you right now that back there is not real, and you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
See, if it were me and I found someone wasn't real, I'm sorry. I would be selfish and just quietly get off myself. You know, I don't think I'd care enough to warn everyone, but that's just me. She cares too much.
Did the person respond though? Go, I am.
We don't have that footage or audio, but I just, it's thankfully the plane hadn't taken off yet. That part is good because this happens at 30,000 feet, and then you do have a lot of. Then everybody is as upset as she is because everybody hits the panic button, and she ends up duct taped to a chair.
Yeah,
as opposed to just walking off the plane herself.
I mean, it's come to the point now. We need a little holding pen, a little cell up there, don't we, for these people? Because then you have to land in, Bumblebutt, Arkansas or something like that, and get the plane turned around and go all the way back. Can't we just say, hey, we got a crazy, put her in the crazy room, lock her up back there until we land, and then you guys do whatever you have to do with her. I know there's a lot of paperwork involved, but I want to get to where I'm going. This is happening so often. And she looks so normal. I like it when crazy people tip you off, They look a little like the guy down there on the corner with the cardboard sign. I like that kind of crazy, tip it off. Wear something silly, or just look like you're super intoxicated. She doesn't look like any of this. She looks like any old person walking around out in the street or going on vacation and sounds sober.
I'm telling you, I'm getting the off, and there's a reason why I'm getting off on everyone. Can either believe it or they cannot believe
she's not slurring her
but I am
words.
telling you right now that back there is not real, and you can sit on this plane and you can die with them or not. I'm not going to.
I really wish that somebody, the person videotaping that explosion, I wish they'd pan back to the back of the plane and there was a mannequin strapped into a seat. That just would have been the cherry on top.
There's nowhere in the story, by the way, that anyone did check to make sure that passenger was real.
Yeah.
Didn't pinch him.
Or I'm just picturing the autopilot from Airplane, just the blow-up doll, just sitting there in the seat, like with a smile on his face and a cigarette in his hand.
Yeah, why not?
That'd be pretty great. So we apparently have forgotten how to travel. We've also forgotten how to enjoy live music without making asses of ourselves. There's a big spate lately of people throwing things at artists on stage, and not like rock shows. I don't know. I've been on stage in a rock band thousands of times, and I've had a lot of stuff thrown at the stage. That's not that unusual at a rock concert. It's not welcome. I don't think any band ever says, come on, throw coins and cans at us. But it happens occasionally, more often than you might think. But in the world of pop stars, it's a pretty rare thing until recently. So apparently we've now forgotten how to fly, and we've forgotten how to attend a concert without disrupting things. About a week ago, what was it? How do you say this woman's name? BB Rexa? Is that her name?
Yes.
Pop star. Somebody threw something she got hit and a black eye cut her eyelid. She just got belted by something in the face. Ava also had a fan jump on stage and tackle her on stage. We talked about Pink, the pop star Pink. Someone threw their mother's ashes on stage to Pink the other day. Well, now someone's gone a bit further and thrown a literal wheel of cheese at Pink. How do you get a wheel of cheese past security is beyond me, but it's a giant wheel of brie that someone just hurled on the stage. It landed at her feet.
That's impressive alone. It's like throwing the discus.
Yeah, it is.
But seriously, how do you get that in there? I take in a little flask that tucks, very anatomically into my crotch, and they find that one every time. But a big wheel of cheese?
I used to. I have seen. I have a very distinct memory on stage in '91 in Europe at the Monsters of Rock tour in Europe. It was Metallica and AC/DC and Motley Crue and Queensryche, and then the brand new band on the bill opening each show was my band, the Black Crowes. We didn't really fit in with the metal kids too much, so we had a lot of stadiums of European rock fans angry that we were there. They would chant in unison, faster, 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 and then we would respond by playing like the Allman Brothers' Dreams for 9 minutes because that was how we were. And we were at a gig outside of Paris, and they were whipping things. I mean, it looked like footage from a tornado, the amount of things just in the air at all times, throwing at each other in the crowd, throwing towards the stage. Thankfully, the French don't grow up playing baseball, so none of them really have good arms. But somebody, I watched and I saw, like they were throwing shoes, like high-top sneakers were landing on stage. like big things like that. And I looked up and I saw, and in my head, as I'm playing a song, I'm like, that looks like a Grolsch can, like a can of Grolsch beer. And I'm like, that is a big one of those jumbo cans of Grolsch. And it's unopened. And someone got some, I'm like, there's a quarterback out there, and he threw it. And I'm like, it's going to get to me. And I'm on, we're on a giant stage, and there's a pit that separates the people from the stage. There's barricades. And it goes over my singer's head, and it's coming right at me. And in fact, I had to put my left hand up and punch it away before it smashed me in the face.
Oh, wow.
And I literally was like, honest to God, Joe Theismann just whipped that thing from the crowd.
Jeez.
And of course, all the band turns around like, "Where's the snare, man?" But it was like, wow, I almost got my face broken in. And just think, and then at the same time, I thought that's such an amazing throw.
Yeah.
And then I'm literally, we're still playing a song, and I'm like, maybe they had like a boomerang, or maybe the guy put it in had some sort of lever.
Shot,
yeah. I'm like, there's no way someone threw that can that far.
A trebuchet, I think they're called, right?
Sure,
Yeah,
that would work.
Use the trebuchet. I thought you were going to say you rock started, caught it in midair, slammed it, and mid-beat. If you had caught that thing, slammed it, just chugged it.
That would have been awesome.
Oh, my God. They'd have a statue of you over there somewhere.
They would have thrown more. They would have been like, "Oh, he likes Grolsch."
Here comes the Grolsch.
Coins was a pretty common one too.
Man.
Just people whipping coins at the stage.
I've seen a lot of rock shows come to an end. I'm thinking of Randy Bachman. Someone threw an empty beer can that landed near his foot. Show over. Yeah. But I've seen a lot of shows come to an end. And I think one of them was people were throwing, change on stage. I wouldn't, because you're a sitting duck. You're a target up there. Where are you going to go? I understand why sometimes they, go into the crowd. Why Axl goes nuts up there. This is Adele, of all people, talking about, she had a show over the weekend, talking about people throwing stuff up on stage, had a little tongue-in-cheek threat for the audience if they did that at an Adele show. And picture her doing this, by the way, while she's holding a T-shirt cannon.
Yeah, have you noticed how people are like forgetting show etiquette at the moment? People are throwing on stage. Have you seen that? I dare you throw something at me and I'm
Yeah, there she goes with the T-shirt cannon. That was awfully echoey. Now that I listen to it.
I dare you to throw something at me and I'll kill you. Okay?
Yeah, I'll effing kill you.
The one thing that's absolutely worse than people throwing things at you on stage, the people who bring like tambourines to the show.
Want to play along?
Yeah. There's a woman in Detroit who I just rue the day she was born, because she would show up at gigs right up front and have that tambourine, and you'd be amazed at how many amplifiers of one tambourine can cut through.
Oh, I bet.
Especially when it's being played in nothing resembling any sort of time anyone's ever played a rock song.
I was just going to say, at least I hope she was in time with the song, but not so much.
Oh, God, no. It's like you feel like someone's having a seizure the way she would shake that thing. And there's a breakdown in the song, and you just got to keep, I said, not you. My job is, there's a breakdown. Keep time on that hi-hat so everybody else knows the time. And I'm just going, and then it sounds like a crazy person just shaking a tambourine, and what makes and it's really hard not to follow a tambourine. You hear a tambourine, you're like, where's the one? I've completely lost count. And this is the thing. We had several incidents with the same person over the years. Like, hey, please. And we'd send a crew person out and you'll get this back after the show. She got it in every time.
The guys in the band want to sign this. Can we bring it back to you?
Yeah, it's just unbelievable.
Oh, man.
Whatever happened to going to a concert and being glad to be at a concert? And I kid you not, man, it's the cell phones. It just started when everybody decided that they just needed to make a video no one will ever watch again. Because they couldn't just be at a concert anymore. They had to share the experience.
Yeah.
It just leads to then saying, well, I'm going to share my necklace with a singer. I'll throw it into her face.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Panties, underwear, that's fine. They're soft and fun and sexy, maybe.
And a guy like Tom Jones, he's got to wipe all that sweat with something.
He sure does. And the phone thing always drove me crazy because I'd have so many friends there, and they'd sit there, hey, and if you want to pull it out, pull the phone out, and record 20 seconds of some kick-ass song and social media. And, hey, guess who's at the Black Crow show having a killer time? That's one thing. But I know people that stand there next to me and record
the whole song.
The whole song. Or they'll record for the whole show. You missed the show. I'm going to go home later and watch it. But you were here. You didn't have to go home later and watch it, and no one's going to ever watch that with you, ever. You're not that good looking.
Worse is the person who says, no, I'm putting it on Facebook so my friend can watch. Oh, really? Your friend's going to watch that phone get shattered into 500 pieces. Candace, do we have a caller right now?
Yeah, Forrest from Minneapolis.
Forrest, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Steve.
I was going to go with life is like a box of chocolates.
I got a good long-distance throw story. Not really a story, but, that 75 Vikings game when we lost to the Cowboys after the Hail Mary.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That dude from the end zone hauled that Jack Daniels bottle and hit the ref. He wasn't aiming for anybody else but that ref, Armin Terzian, I think his name was, and he nailed him right in the head. That was a throw.
Yeah, if that's a very good point. Now, we would not condone that sort of behavior, but boy, when you hit the bullseye, you hit the bullseye. You know what I mean? You got to stand back in awe. That's true. That's almost 50 years old, and when you mention that, everyone here immediately, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Right. Nobody's really mad at the guy who threw it either. He's kind of a hero.
Yeah. Well, of course. You hit the ref with a whiskey bottle. It's like that's absolutely the stuff of folk legend. Hey, by the way, we have a chance for you to win an autographed guitar from Kansas. Send us your most entertaining guitar solo that is 92 seconds or less, and we'll play some of it on the Best of the KQ Morning Show. We will pick our favorite to win the guitar and tickets to see Kansas Friday, July 14th at the State Theater. You can get entered and check out complete contest rules at 92KQRS.com.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Wednesday, July the 5th. Good morning. Candace Wheeler has a public service announcement she'd like to share with our listening audience.
I had her and then I lost her, so I need another contestant for our game show.
Oh, man, we are about to have a giveaway, a game show, a competition, and we lost one of our callers. So right now, 651-989-ROCK, we need a second contestant to play Little Kid or Drunk Adult. We are offering you a shot to win VIP tickets to the Lakefront Music Festival with Leonard Skinnard and REO Speedwagon, or possibly you might prefer to go see Grand Funk Railroad in August at the Ledge Amphitheater. You're going to get to choose should you win this competition. So give us a shout, 651-989-ROCK. Candace is going to lock in caller number 2, and we will be off and running momentarily.
Zing! Here we go.
I've never seen Grand Funk Railroad. I've never seen REO Speedwagon. I have seen Leonard Skinnard.
Well, I've seen the first couple of bands, but I've not seen Grand Funk. And you got to love a band that will come to your town and help you party down. I'm telling you, we're going to have to get to this roller coaster stuck upside down story. Candace posted something on the KQ Facebook page.
Okay.
I had no idea. I thought, oh, man, things are getting really bad out there. But as usual, it's just being reported more and more because everything is recorded all the time and put right in front of our face.
Right.
There are about, 30 Minnesotans on here that have all been stuck on rides.
Oh, come on.
I do remember the Wild Thing, which is one of the roller coasters out at the Valley Fair, Steve. And I remember like 3 times that summer, that sucker got stuck. And I thought, no way. No, I don't want to be up there. But yeah, on and on and on they go. I'm just scrolling through stuck after stuck after stuck. I've never even been out at one of these things where someone was stuck on a ride.
If you were at the bottom, imagine all the free stuff you'd get, all the change, all the wallets.
all the drool, spit, puke,
fluids.
And everything else. Oh, man.
Stuff and fluids in bulk. It's like going to Costco by the time you get out of there.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a second caller locked down. Candace, is that true?
Yeah.
Well, then let's rock, shall we? All right, well, hang on. Before we introduce our contestants, Tony, we are playing, correct me if I'm wrong, we are playing Little Kid or Drunk Adult, correct?
Oh, you're so right.
I'm not that intoxicated.
Mommy, I have to go potty. Daddy.
Drinks are on me.
The KQ Morning Show presents Little Kid or Drunk Adult.
I'm so wasted.
Oh, man. Little kid or me 2 nights ago? Drunk adult.
It's a personal attack.
I feel like all of these could have been taken from my weekend.
Monday, July 3rd, 2023, a day that will live in infamy. It's my personal Pearl Harbor. Did not see it coming.
Yeah, well.
Thank you, Tanqueray.
Tanqueray.
Tanks, Tanqueray.
Tanks,
It's
Tanqueray.
just the worst ever. All right, so little kid or drunk adult, it's an old favorite around here. Candace, who is contestant number 1?
Denise from Savage.
Denise, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you ready to play little kid or drunk adult?
I am.
Have you been either or both little kid and a drunk adult at least once in your life?
I've been both.
There you go. We can assume you've been at least one, but it's good to know you have experience with both realms. All right. Denise, best of luck to you.
All right, Denise, we'll put that experience of yours to the test here. This is Caleb. And did Caleb do this when he was a little kid or a drunk adult?
I licked a pole and ended up in the hospital.
Licked a pole, ended up in a hospital. Very simple.
A little kid.
I was a drunk adult. I was at a frat party.
Oh, my gosh.
I was hammered. Someone dared me to lick a light pole and ended up getting a nasty bacterial infection. Spent almost a week in the hospital. I'm much more selective of where I put my tongue these days.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a live and learn moment there. These are flip a coin kind of things, Denise, yeah.
A nasty bacterial infection like the Material Girl himself.
Exactly.
Madonna out of the hospital after the same thing. She's out licking poles. See where that was going?
Steven?
All right, sorry, Denise. Back to let's see, your second opportunity.
All right, here, Denise, we give you Cassandra.
A goat ripped my shorts off in front of a huge group of people.
A goat ripped Cassandra's shorts off in front of a huge group of people, but was she a little kid or was she a drunk adult?
A little kid.
I was a little kid.
Yeah.
We took a field trip to the zoo, and we were in the petting zoo when a goat lashed onto my shorts. I freaked out and tried to run away, but he had a death grip on them, and they came off. So embarrassing. All the kids were laughing, and I never went into a petting zoo again.
God, no. Candace, what? Any experiences?
Yeah.
No?
You wouldn't believe.
Oh.
It sounds like, well, you could have asked the goat, little kid or drunk adult goat, because isn't a kid, isn't that what we call young goats?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm getting my goat knowledge together here.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, you're 1 for 2, Denise. Here's your third opportunity.
This would be Bonita.
I helped my uncle steal the tires off his ex-girlfriend's car.
Ooh, helped her uncle steal the tires off his ex-girlfriend's car, but a little kid or a drunk adult?
Say that again. She helped her uncle fill the tires?
Steal tires off his ex-girlfriend's car, yes.
Oh, steal them.
Steal them.
I will say a drunk adult.
Okay, before you judge, I was a 9-year-old little kid. My uncle was bitter and wanted his tires back that he bought his ex. And I had these tiny fingers which helped get the rim wrench in place. Then I held the lug nuts while he worked like a member of a NASCAR pit crew. Boom! 4 seconds, we were done.
All right.
She was a little kid. He was the drunk adult, apparently, in that one.
No doubt. Well, 1 for 3 is certainly tied this game before. I think we had an 0 for tie once. So
yeah. No, you're in good shape, Denise. All is not lost by a long shot.
Right.
So hang on while we get contestant number 2 locked and loaded. Candace, who is contestant number 2?
Brian from St. Paul.
Brian, good morning. Oh, pretty good. Pretty good.
Someone's up and at him.
Well, hey, Zep, I've ran across you quite a few times, stuff like that. And, it's like backing the truck into a dock and taking it back out. You know that joke.
That's right. See, don't dump your load, man. He's referring to my sex talk. Brian, all right, you get it. All right, we got to stick together, us Bryans. Brian, I give you Ryan, little kid or drunk adult.
I fell off the back of a motorbike that was being driven by a Boy Scout.
He fell off the back of a motorbike being driven by a Boy Scout as a little kid or a drunk adult?
Drunk adult.
I was a drunk adult.
Yeah.
I went on a camping trip and was drinking Fireball by the campfire. My dog took off running into the dark night chasing a sound. I ran after the dog for what felt like miles, right? I hit a log, tripped, and tumbled down a steep hill. I snapped my leg and lay there for hours. In the morning, 3 scouts find me, and one gets a dirt bike. The kid took off fast, hit a wreck, and I fell off, landing on my wrist, breaking that too. It took a team of adults to properly rescue me.
Jeez, that's a long night.
Darn the
Ryan.
luck.
Sounds like being on the motorcycle. How's that?
Yeah, all right. Ryan,
Jeez, that
I
is
got
rough.
one.
all right. Yeah, I'm sure you do. All right, Ryan, you're 1 for 1. You're in good shape here. How about Jesse, little kid or drunk adult?
So I woke up in a Taco Bell dumpster.
Woke up in a Taco Bell dumpster
God.
as a little kid or a drunk adult.
It's got to be a drunk adult. Why? You have to go after the food.
All right.
I was a little kid.
Oh.
I was playing hide and seek with my friends, and my house was backed up to an alley and a Taco Bell. So I figured they'd never find me in a dumpster, and I was really committed to win. And so I stayed in there so long that I ended up falling asleep.
Sure.
Good spot.
I like that. All right, Brian, 1 for 2. Your third opportunity. This is the deal breaker right here. You're either going to tie Denise or you're going to win this bad boy.
All right, for the win, Ryan. Allison.
So I face planted into my friend's cat's dirty litter box.
All right, Brian.
Oh.
Face planted into her friend's cat's dirty litter box.
Ooh, let's see here. That's I'm going to say a drunk adult.
And the answer is...
I was a drunk adult in college, and I was hanging out with some of my friends and like some baseball players, and I was dared to do, that thing like when you put the baseball, your forehead like on the baseball bat, and you spin around and see if you can walk. Well, by the time I was done spinning, my balance was done, and I tried to walk towards the couch to sit down, but I didn't make it. Instead, I fell face first right into my friend's cat's dirty litter box.
Yeah, that's the ultimate outcome when you do a drunk game like that. You want to see somebody go face plant in the litter box. Brian, I believe that's a win.
Yes.
2 for 3 for Brian. Bingo. All right, so you have a choice, sir, to see Skinnerd and Oreo Speedwagon July 14th at Lakefront Park in Prior Lake, or Grand Funk Railroad August 12th at the Ledge Amphitheater near St. Cloud.
Grand Funk Railroad.
That way.
Grand Funk Railroad. Sure.
Yeah, not bad.
That sounds good. Now, does that mean Denise gets the other tickets?
Yeah. Isn't that what that means? That's what I take it to mean.
Giving everybody everything.
Everyone's a winner.
Right on, Denise. Right on, Brian.
Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Nice talking to you, Zepp. And Steve, I'm glad you showed up.
Well, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Brian. God, I wish I had Brian's energy this morning.
Happy to have shown up myself.
Yeah.
Well, that's always fun, little kid or drunk adult. As a little kid, I fell asleep in a bulldozer in the front, the scoop thing of a bulldozer.
Oh yeah.
What were you doing in there?
Well, they were doing some work across the street. I saw an empty bulldozer. I was like, "That's cool."
Sure.
And I got in it, and I sat there for a few minutes, and then it was nap time.
How'd little Stevie Gorman die? Well, he took a nap in the. Did they check the buckets of the dozer before?
The guy did. This is an entirely true story. I woke up when he turned it on. I jumped up and jumped out and looked at him, and he laughed like, traumatized me. Haven't been near heavy machinery since.
Yeah, well, who needs it? That's a working person stuff.
I mean, it was probably 5 years later we got a riding lawnmower finally, and I was afraid of that thing. Just like I was like, man, I don't know. That engine's just too loud. It brings back all these, almosts of the nap and the bulldozer. I have fallen asleep in the front thing of the scoop of the bulldozer. I fell asleep on a rope hammock while cutting the grass myself later with a push mower. I was doing I had the push mower. I went around the base of 2 pine trees through which the hammock was hung, and then I, went underneath the hammock. And then I was like, that looks so good. I'm just going to lay down for a second. Laid down and immediately fell asleep right next to a lawnmower that was still fully on.
It was still running.
Yeah. My father did not think any of that was funny or cute.
No, dads. They don't think those kind of things are funny, right? That's all part of being a dad.
What kind of young man falls asleep during chores? This one.
My dad used to always tell me when I was out there working the heavy machinery, the tractors in the field. Now, Brian, if you get tired, please, I don't want you to get hurt out here. Take a nap. Just stop the tractor and take a nap.
Oh, wow.
I'm a teenager. I'm stopping the tractor every lap and taking a little nap. After a lap, I take a nap.
Yeah.
And Dad comes screaming up in the pickup, wakes me up. What are you doing? I said, well, until you said if I get tired, take a nap. You can't be napping. That's got to get done. Well, you said. I know what I said. It was really conflicted me, between being a safe dad and a dad that had to get crap done with a lazy teenager.
Yeah, mixed messages. I would have loved some of those. It was pretty much, it was just all straight line terror as far as I knew.
Well, speaking of terror, a roller coaster stuck upside down for 3 hours over in Wisconsin, the Fireball. And people are sharing being stuck on rides on our KQ Facebook page. Candace put this post up earlier, and these are blowing my mind. There's a lot of them. Call them in if you'd like. We'd like to hear it out of your own words. Stuck on a ride, 651-989-ROCK. That's the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and Text line. And some benefits of booze. Is it too soon to talk about the good that booze can do us? We've got some good booze stories.
As long as it doesn't involve drinking in it, I'm all ears.
I think we're all right. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Wednesday, July the 5th. A few days after a roller coaster in Wisconsin got stuck upside down for 3 hours. A bunch of folks, it's not really a roller coaster. It's just a ride that goes in a loop-de-loop-de-loop. It just goes over and over and over in a loop. But it was upside down in that loop, and it just stopped, and it froze. And for 3 hours, no one fell out. Nobody was injured seriously, but for 3 hours, people waited upside down until firemen could get a giant ladder up there and rescue them one at a time. That's kind of stressful. We put on the KQ Facebook page, have you ever seen or been involved in a ride malfunction? And the answer's yes. Yeah. Yes. A lot of comments from the Facebook, from our listeners on Facebook. And by the way, if you do want to share a story, you can always call 651-989-ROCK. 651-989-ROCK, the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and Text line. We always welcome your phone calls.
Yeah, I had no idea. I feel a little left out. I have not been stuck on a ride. Jeff, first summer at Valley Fair Open, his family were there when a cart from the White Sidewalls, an old roller coaster there, just tipped over. A dad and a son fell out. No one seriously hurt. I love this one from Dawn. Now, this sounds like something that would happen at every fair. Had a tilt-a-whirl operator not out for quite a while before waking up and stopping the ride. It was the best and longest tilt-a-whirl ride I ever had.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Get me out. We're stuck on a tram at Disney when my son was 4. Our wife 7 months pregnant for an hour before using the emergency exit somewhere in Space Mountain. Barely got an apology for that one.
Ooh, yeah, I don't like the sound of any of these, especially with the pregnant wife.
No, how about Jess on a large water slide in Holiday World? I don't know where that's at.
Holiday World, Southern Indiana.
Oh, there you go.
Been there.
Yeah, all right. Multiple people get a lot of people get into the big raft. I've done this one before, not at Holiday World. This one, the conveyor belt lifted to the top before sliding down. Their raft decided to twirl the entire way up the belt, ended up going off the belt onto the metal slides. They had to be rescued, walked down tiny metal steps all the way.
Holiday World is in a town called Santa Claus, Indiana. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. And they offer you buy a soft drink and it's free refills all day at the park, and that was for you. That's the big selling point when you're driving. If you're near Louisville or Cincinnati or Evansville, Indiana, you'll see billboards for Holiday World, free soft drink. I mean, they promote the heck out of the fact that you're getting free Cokes all day long.
That's how you keep the water rides full of urine.
I guess that's how that works.
Mark, out at the Minnesota State Fair, a guy bungee jumped. He was attached by ankle straps, supposed to be winched up, but the winch failed. They hollered at him to pull himself up by grabbing his legs. He was stuck for about a half hour and no refund. They gave him a coupon for another jump. Not this. You guys ever done any bungee jumping?
I've never done it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah? Did you enjoy yourself?
Well, I can't remember. I get those confused with the one where you sit on it and it flips you around. I don't know.
The ejector seat?
Yes.
That one as
I've
well,
done
yeah.
that one too.
We bought bungee cords from the South Dakota State Fair guy when we were in high school. We all pooled our money and said, hey, can we buy? He's like, you know what? I'm only allowed to use them for 200 jumps, something about regulations or some nonsense. And yeah, they're about there anyway. So he sold them to us and we figured out how to bungee jump ourselves by leaping off bridges.
Oh, sure.
Nobody died, but I remember Tony Dunnick on the first jump goes all the way down and tags the stream there. We call that tagging when you just your head kind of hits the stream a little bit. And then he came all the way back up, and we realized, oh, my God, we didn't time. He's going to hit the bottom of the bridge doing about 60 miles an hour.
Oh, boy.
But he came up the other side of the bridge. We figured it out.
Yeah, sure.
Who'd want to go first?
Yeah. Wow. The brakes went out at an old Ferris wheel. Jenny said the old Ferris wheel at Bay Beach Amusement Park in Green Bay, the brakes went out, and park workers from all over the park had to come help slow it down to let the riders off one bucket at a time while everyone hung upside down. What was that?
I had something happen to me on a Ferris wheel, too.
What was that?
The carny was probably wasted, but you know when you come down, like when they let you off, you have to they have to lean it forward to get off, and he totally missed the platform. So my friend Laura and I fell straight through to the bottom.
Oh, far!
Yeah, it wasn't that far, but it was like scraped my leg. He was like, "Oops, sorry about that."
Oops.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, just the old oops. That's what you can say when parents aren't around. Oops, now off you go.
Yeah.
A lot of people stuck on the wild thing at Valley Fair. I remember there were several times in one summer it kept getting stuck for like a couple of hours. My daughter, at that time, was a teenager. We had the season pass where you just drop them off and forget about them, come back and get them, and hope they're still alive.
You know there's a mall like the Mall of America in Edmonton in Canada. It's the West Edmonton Mall. I'm not sure which one was first, but it's similar. I mean, it's the biggest mall you've ever seen. It's just gargantuan. And they have an indoor amusement park, much like Mall of America. And they have a roller coaster called the Mindbender. And in 1990, I was up there for the first time. And the promoter rep was like, we had, I guess it was a day off. We took a few of us to the mall. And he goes, oh, we can go ride the roller coaster as many times as you want. Like he knew a guy had it set up. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was like, cool, roller coaster, let's go. And we got on. It was me and a couple guys in the band and a crew guy, 4 or 5 of us. And we got to ride. We literally rode it like 6 straight times without getting off. He just kept let us on, which was, I'm thinking this is the coolest thing ever. And we got off, and it does go upside down a few different times, and it's really fast. And after 5 or 6 rides, it was like, okay, that's plenty. Thanks. Yeah. And we get off, and we're all like, whoa, that was pretty wild. And he goes, yeah, man, I mean, you know what happened on this ride a couple years ago, right? And I'm like, no. And he goes, oh, yeah, a bunch of people got killed. But it's all safe now. He tells us this after we'd ridden it a few times. And I thought he's just pulling our leg. And so at the gig, I asked a few people, I said, did something happen? And everyone immediately was like, oh, yeah, real famous story around here, right? So what happened was it was going around and it was bending mines like it does, right? And literally they had a crash, and the cart came off the track, or one of the 4 cars, like the wheel blew out somehow, and it came off the track. 4 people were thrown from the ride somehow. Oh. It automatically just took up the bar and discontinued their shoulders. Mm-hmm. A whole bunch of things went wrong. 4 people were thrown out. And 3 of them died, and the 4th was like paralyzed from the neck down. Oh my God. Just tragic story. And I hear all about this, of course, after I'd ridden it a few times. But it had been open for a couple years by the time we rode it, and it was safe, and they had fixed everything. And then I found out crazier story. When that crash happened, there was a band that was on tour that were waiting to ride the ride. They were the next guys up. It was a band from Canada called Blue Rodeo. Do you remember the name of that band? Mm-hmm. They had a little thing going in the mid-'80s. And they were waiting to board that ride, and they saw the accident happened, and they were also understandably traumatized. Not only did they cancel their tour, the band kind of broke up.
Oh.
It was the end. They just couldn't ever.
Messed with their heads.
They all were just dealing with different things in the aftermath, and that was the end of a good band. Dang. What a crazy thing. I mean, obviously doesn't compare to end of lives as the 3 people were killed and somebody was. But and I'm thinking about, because I've been in a million rides and a million roller coasters and a million parks, and I've never had anything happen. That's as close as I've ever come, which is to say I rode something a few years after something terrible happened. Yeah. I can't believe how many comments are on the Facebook page.
And they just keep coming in. I the same thing. And I think about that now that I think about these rides, how long some of these rides have been together and they're set up and, and hooked up and pulled down and taken out on the road time and time again, summer after summer. Here in Scott County Fair, late 70s, Bert writes, my best friend and I were stuck at the high point of a spider-type ride while the guy went to lunch. At least it was a nice day, but I started singing I Can See for Miles and Miles and then got a little thirsty. You know what? The old... tractor of a ride, the old mid-century ride breaks down.
Sure.
That's bad enough. But going out to lunch, nodding off at the controls, these are the things we expect from carnies, but that would really piss me off.
So they're stuck and they could look down and see them at the food court?
Yeah, right. Hey, Carl, over here.
The ride, the swings, you get on the swings,
Yeah.
and just goes in
Yeah.
a circle and fans out. I always liked that as a kid. And I remember I was at Opryland, which is the country music theme park in Nashville, Tennessee, that unexpectedly closed in the mid-90s so they could put a outlet mall in its place. And people in Nashville still complain about it regularly because there's plenty of outlet malls in the world. There was an amusement park, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
But Opryland was they had those swings, and I was on there as a kid, and I got on my chair, and I had like 2 stuffed animals that I'd won. Like at doing something. And as I'm flying around, I'm like, oh, wait, I don't want to hang on to these. And I looked down and I spied my brother Dave. And so I'm holding one up and I'm waving it at him, and he recognizes, like, I want to get it to him. So he says, so as I'm circling, he's like, yeah, throw it here. Do you know how far off you can throw a teddy bear? Miles. You can. So I thought, well, I got to lead it a little bit. So as I'm coming around the bend, I see him and I just toss it. And it flies 700 feet past it. And he doesn't even track it with his eyes. He just immediately is laughing because he knows
it's out of the park.
It's so far gone. And then I'm like, okay, man, I really got to lead this one. And then I do it again. I wait a few spins, and I'm laughing too. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And so the second time, I'm like, well, I'm going to put some more. I'll put some pep on this one. Like, I'll throw it down hard. And I tried that time, and that one still went way over his head. But I saw that one, and it just bounced on the ground right next to a kid who just turned and immediately picked it up like, yes! And he goes running off with it. And as I come around the second time, I come around this circle, I can see the kid still, like, he's holding it up with 2 hands. He's dancing. He's like, I got a teddy bear. And my brother's just dying laughing. I was like, man.
Thank you, God.
That's exactly what it was. The thank you, God kid from Animal House.
Okay, here's a twist from Jay's SeaWorld in Orlando. I was stuck on the Wild Arctic ride for an hour. This is a ride that's kept super cold for Arctic, right? You get the Wild Arctic.
Yeah, right, sure.
So you're able to see, let's just say, shorts, a T-shirt, and flip-flops, not the best cold weather gear.
Ooh.
On the Wild Arctic ride. Yeah, you don't expect to be caught in it. It sounds like a nice way to cool off. Let's go get on the Wild Arctic and cool off for a little bit. And then it gets stuck and you're in flip-flops and shorts. They closed the ride in 2020, yeah.
Man. Check this comment. Matt writes, when I was in high school, a bunch of my friends went to Valley Fair. We were in line to ride Excalibur. Does that name ring a bell?
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
When we were getting on, I got a bad feeling, so I bailed and I headed for the exit instead. My buddies were giving me crap, except one who joined me. Sure enough, it got stuck on the climb up to the drop. I started laughing and yelling, I told you so. They were flipping me off from the top. That's when I learned to follow my gut. Okay, come on. Really? Is your gut never steered you wrong, Matt? I'm sorry. I got to call you out on that one.
Yeah.
Tell me when your gut tells you that this is the moment to buy a Powerball ticket.
Yes, right, exactly. That never works like that. Well, all right, we're going to get around to these. Like I said, booze can be good. I'm having a hard time coming up with a reason why.
You don't have to
Wednesday
drink
morning.
it to enjoy the benefits.
Exactly.
How about that?
You do not have to drink it to enjoy the benefits. You could wear it, for example.
You know what? I got to cut you off, though, because this is important. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that 92KQRS has your shot to win free gas for a year. You got to listen weekdays at 9, 2, and 5. 9. Right around the corner. For your keyword to text to win $92.50 in free gas. Plus, you can get tickets to an upcoming show at the Medina Entertainment Center, and you will be entered in the free gas for a year contest. This is sponsored by Body Gastroenterology. They know a little bit about gas, free and otherwise, as well as Quick Trip. So check that out at 9 o'clock.
All right, 9 o'clock, we're coming back with that. And 4 surprise health benefits of whiskey. Also, get a better tan with beer. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Wednesday, July the 5th. It is almost 9 a.m. Good morning as we are getting ourselves back into the swing of things, not just as a morning show, but as a society after the 4th of July holiday. Back to the grind. Boy, we've already established that, at least for Zepp and myself, the grind, it came early and we peaked early, and we're old men, and we did ourselves in by the 3rd. We both spent the 4th of July convalescing our hangovers, ultimately. Too much food, too much drink. And boy, I mean, nothing to be proud of, honestly, at least on my account. It sounds like you at least had some intentions, Zepp. You had a family get together, correct, for a couple days?
Yeah, a couple of days got together with the family. That's always a good time, you know.
Yeah.
A little family drama, but, you know, hey, I wasn't the source of any of the drama this weekend, so I can look back on it and go, tisk, tisk. Boy, those people just don't know how to enjoy themselves. So, but yeah, all in all, a great time out at the farm with the fam, and then decided to double down and get together with some friends up north at a lake. Yeah, and it got even weirder and wilder and more dramatic. But and the food, I don't know which is worse this morning, because I don't have that traditional hangover, but I have that I've just way overdone it. You know, not enough sleep, way too much of everything else, and definitely too much food.
Yeah, what would hope happen if I poked your tummy?
I would explode. I would
stand
pop.
back.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair
You'd get
enough.
slimed.
I had a much simpler story, which was Monday night, July 3rd, in anticipation of the festivities for the 4th. Just had a gin and tonic the size of my head, apparently, and it was just a bridge too far. Just overdid it. A nice, easy, you know, it's a nice, fresh, light summer cocktail, the gin and tonic.
Yeah.
But boy, sometimes it just comes back to bite you.
Those sneak up on you, yeah.
Yeah, it really did. It was sneaky. It was sneaking, and then not so sneaky at all. Then just blatant and ugly and horrific. And I spent the day yesterday with an old man hangover. Candace went to L.A. and partied like a I almost said like a rock star, but that's so trite and cliche to say. But by God, you took in a gig at the Whiskey. You took in a gig at the Hollywood Bowl. You had a hell of a weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, I'd say I partied like a rock and roll fan.
There you go.
Yeah, it was pretty magical. You know, Robbie Krieger was amazing at the Whiskey. I'm a big Doors fan. Everyone knows I got a tattoo in Venice. I saw the Beach Boys.
Whoa. What's this tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh, I just got a little sun. So I have a tattoo of Jim Morrison on my side, and he's kind of looking up. So he came to me and he said, I need something to look at. So I just got a little tiny sun, so it's like right in his gaze.
Whose son?
So he's staring at the sun.
That's not, your son.
That's a bad
I recognize that.
Right, with the curly hair. No, it's Venice Beach or Venice?
Yes, okay. On the beach, yeah.
Venice
Beach.
Yeah. That was Venice Beach. That was, I got to go down to Venice Beach. And I'm sitting there eating a slice of pizza, talking to a guy, and I didn't finish the crust. I just whipped the crust into the garbage. And as he's talking very nonchalantly, just reaches in, grabs out the crust, and continues to eat it while he talks to me.
Venice Beach has what's called the 30-second rule.
And that goes for everything.
Yeah, someone disregards a piece of food or a child. You have 30 seconds to claim it.
Yep.
That's how that works.
Candice, do you remember the place you went to in Venice? That's because I got one in Venice Beach, my one and only.
House of Ink.
I think that's it.
That's right next to the Ink House, which is right next to the house you can get inked at.
Tony, you've also been tattooed in Venice Beach, California?
Tattooed, yes.
And what do you mind me asking, where and what is the tattoo?
It's on my arm. It's a big tiger. Le Tigre.
I've seen that.
Yes.
Of course, I've seen it. And what led to this? Was this a lot of thought, or was this a spur of the moment? I'm in Venice, and by God, I feel tigerish today.
I always wanted to get one, and when I went out there, I was out living on my own and going through. I took some risks and went on my own adventure.
Nice.
And my dad, who had passed away, used to call me Tiger. And I drew it myself, so it has.
Cool.
It was good.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Closure and kind of cool.
No, that's very cool.
That's good. That's cool. I've seen some bad tigers. My brother got a tiger on his arm, and he wanted a tiger growling, like snarling is a better way to put it. And it looks like it's winking or it has a tick or something. It's not a good one. He got it. Of course, he got it at a bar in South Dakota, but not a classy joint like Venice Beach.
That'll happen. If you're planning a trip to Venice Beach to be tattooed or just to go hang out and look at the sunset one night, which is a pretty nice place to do it, it would help if you had free gas to get you out there, wouldn't it? Oh, baby. Right now on the Maple Grove Lock and Safe Talk and text line, text parking. The word parking to 651-989-ROCK for a chance to win $92.50 in free gas, tickets to an upcoming show at the Medina Entertainment Center, plus a shot at free gas for a year. That'll get you headed west in a hurry. Sponsored by Body Gastroenterology, prize provided by Quick Trip and the Medina Entertainment Center. Good luck.
Yeah, it would have saved me hundreds of dollars driving out to South Dakota and then up north. Man, I put on the miles. You hit the pump, you feel it.
It's exactly what happens. Free gas for a year, man. That's nothing to sneeze at. So I mentioned that I went a little overboard with the gin and tonics a couple nights ago. There are other ways you can go overboard with alcohol that does not involve drinking it and then getting drunk. How about this? The newest TikTok hack. It's all over the TikTok, so you know the kids are talking about it. Apparently, there's the word on the street is that beer helps you to tan, not by drinking it, but by pouring it onto your body. Beer. There are people literally just dumping themselves in beer, saying that the hops in the beer promotes melanin production.
I'm skeptical.
Just real quick, guys. If this were true, we would have all known this a long time ago, because people have been spilling beer accidentally at the beach for years, for a millennia.
Right.
For as long as there's been beer in beaches, people have been spilling beer on themselves at the beach. And when those drops hit your body, you don't get a little darker where the drops are. We would all know that. We would have all had a beer splotch tan by now.
Yeah, by now something would have happened.
Just opening the can. You know, you get that. You get a little spray in your face, and then you're like, dude, what happened to your face? Oh, beer tan. Beer spray tan.
It looked like little freckles all over you, wouldn't it? Yeah, little beer freckles, we call them. I'll allow for spilling beer.
Right.
But dumping beer, it seems like a good waste of beer. Is there any science behind this, or just
no?
Okay.
It's just silly. And skincare folks are actually saying, do not do this. If anything, you're just going to get a bad burn.
Yeah.
Even if you have sunblock, if you apply sunblock first, the beer can help much more quickly wash it away.
Okay, that makes sense.
A burn can happen in as little as 10 minutes, as Candace learned recently. You did your own legs in, right?
Yeah, I was very good about sunscreen in LA. So
yeah,
that's probably a good idea. Well, that and ladies, if you're going to be rubbing beer all over your body, you might be attracting the wrong kind of guy. I'm just saying, a guy walks by a lady that reeks of beer, and you're just inviting trouble.
You are also inviting bugs, mosquitoes, and beers. If you're sticky, the bugs like that. I had a bee land on my lips because it was happy. I was chugging a Sprite, and next thing I know, there's a bee on my doing a lap around my closed mouth on my lips where the Sprite was.
Trying to pollinate you.
Yeah, kind of scary, kind of unsettling. Did not get stung. I waited and waited and waited, and then my brother was going, don't move, don't move, don't move, and the thing would not fly away, and I finally slapped my own face and then sprinted and dove into the pool and stayed underwater for as long as I could. I was convinced it was just hovering above the water, waiting for me to come up so it could seek its revenge.
Well, we were terrified of bees growing up because of the killer bees, right? I mean, we saw the television shows, and there was one news report, and killer bees were coming up from South America, brought over here from Africa, and that was going to be the end of time. That lady died in the car in the movie, I remember, and the horrible. Bees. It's bad.
I'm still, remember a couple years ago, what was it, the murder hornets?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Murder hornets.
They were on the West Coast from Japan.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. You got to watch it out there. Just keep the sticky things away from you where the murder hornets are out flying. Here's something else. How about this? Okay, so beer does not help you tan.
All right.
And in fact, if you're drinking the beer, it will help you burn because you forget that you're hot and you just drink a third beer and then you go to number 4 and then the next thing you know, you've got, an aloe situation.
You've passed out in the sun, yeah.
Here's some health benefits for whiskey. I'm not going to suggest you pour whiskey on your body to get a better tan, but apparently a shot of whiskey has a full day's supply of vitamin C.
Oh, really? Oh, I
didn't know that.
I've got a lifetime supply over the weekend.
Yeah, sure you did. Vitamin crocked. No, just vitamin C. You can, so this is a real thing. Drinking one shot gives you the full day supply of vitamin C. You don't have to worry about, pounding out 6 of those little Tangelos that are so cute in the store. How about this? Whiskey, apparently researchers in Toronto have found that 1 glass of whiskey can help calm you down. It helps the nerves. It lowers your heart rate. It's that second glass that gets the fists a-flying.
Right. Yeah, that second one. If you could just keep it to 1, right? You'd get all your vitamin C there. You'd be nice and calm.
Just have a sip. Have a couple sips of that whiskey.
Does that make sense, though? Do you guys have grandparents would say have a little shot of whiskey when you're getting a cold?
Sure.
If you're feeling under the weather, so that makes sense.
Yeah, Grandpa's old cough medicine.
Yep. I had a cough medicine when I was a kid called Silence is Golden. Remember that? You ever see that?
Sounds familiar.
It was a literal old school. And I think it was just straight hooch. There was some honey added to it, but it was kind of thicker. It was like a cough syrup. It was thicker than just like a normal liquid, like juice. And you'd have a spoonful, and it went down. It did not go down easy. It went down kind of harsh, and then I would wake up, and it would be tomorrow. I think my parents were just pouring me some sort of a liqueur.
Back then, it was okay. I think
that's what. In fact, I say that jokingly because it really wasn't a product called Silence is Golden. My mom, on occasion, did have a little cream de mint liqueur, and she would put just a little, like, here, this will help settle you down. And, basically just put me to sleep drunk, I guess.
It's a grasshopper.
Yeah. We wonder why this country has a drinking epidemic for years, our generation. Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, just coming right out of the gate swinging, blaming my folks for the fact that I was drunk Monday night.
Just making sure you have your vitamin C. We didn't have as many vitamins back then.
No, nowhere near as many vitamins back then. Question, let's go back to the fact that in Wisconsin over the weekend, 8 people were stuck upside down on a roller coaster for 3 hours. Have anybody here on the show, have any of us ever ridden a roller coaster while drunk?
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine the drunken person that was sitting upside down for 3 hours?
Yeah,
it's bad enough to be in any state, but drunk? Upside down 3 hours? That's problematic.
That's not where I would want to start to sober up. You're right. I'd get cranky, panicky. I'd go through the roller coaster of emotions, if you will.
Oh, I like that.
Right, exactly. But yeah, no, that would really suck, wouldn't it?
I gotta think at least one of those people said the following before the ride left. All right, we got one more, and then I got to get out of here. Somebody was taking their last ride of the day.
It was in Wisconsin, so there were some drunks on that roller coaster upside down. It was the Fireball, for God's sakes.
If you're going to call a roller coaster a fireball, you're asking for all kinds of interpretive trouble. Right, I mean, it's basically that simple. I'm amazed at how many people chimed in on the Facebook page with either experiencing themselves or watching rides malfunction at amusement parks. I mean, you just don't hear about them as often as you would think based on the comments we've gotten from our listeners.
Yeah, no, over and over again out at the Mall of America, Valley Fair here. I mean, those 2 places alone, I'm looking at a couple of dozen. Here's a new one. My daughters were on the log chute ride at Mall of America, broke down, stuck in the dark tunnel part right before the drop.
Exactly. It's better than being stuck by Paul Bunyan in the other area of the ride. So count your blessings, Teresa.
Yes, exactly.
Wait. What's wrong with being stuck by Paul Bunyan?
Because I can't wait to take you on this ride. It's just crazy in there. It's like a giant Paul Bunyan. It used to really scare me as a kid. And the giant Bay of the Blue Ox. And it's all dark and spooky in there. And he's got he's saying something, but you can't really tell what he's saying.
Well, fair enough. All right. I too can't wait for you to take me on that ride. You've really done a great job of selling it.
Sounds terrifying.
You were saying earlier that your ride days were probably over.
I think so.
And you knew someone was going to jump in on the KQ Facebook page because I said, yeah, I don't do the rides much anymore. The kids are all grown up, and I've just kind of got it out of my system. Bob here on the Giant Dipper, Santa Cruz in the 70s, stuck on the track at the top. First climb, workers escorted everyone off. And he just rode it again 2 weeks ago with his granddaughter, 79 years of age.
Oh, that's strong.
Still going on the roller coaster at 79.
All right, I got to admit, if my granddaughter, whenever she does join us on planet Earth, says, Grandpa, will you ride a roller coaster? I'd have a hard time saying no.
Right.
Hell, if Chauncey asked me, I'd say yes. He's a damn dog. He's sound asleep right next to me. I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Wednesday, July the 5th. We hope everybody has recovered from the long weekend, if you had a long weekend, as some of us did, back to the grind for a Wednesday. But at the same time, Wednesday feels like Monday, but it's actually Wednesday. I kind of dig it.
Yeah. I mean, it works for me just because, like I said, not in 3 days that I'm going to do last weekend all over again. But, it's right here upon us. It's practically on the doorstep. This is the hump.
We've been hearing about different parts of the world. In fact, even some American companies flirting with a 4-day work week. Tell you what, the 3-day work week's even better.
Nothing beats a 3-day work week.
Incredible.
As long as you don't have to get everything done in 3 days, But hey.
No, it's just a matter of staying busy. Looking like you're getting a lot of things done.
Right. I mean, if you really hammer down, not our jobs because there's a timely factor to it, I suppose, but for most jobs, if you just really hammered down for 3 days, I got to believe that any other job I've had outside of radio, if I just hammered down, I feel like I could get it done in 2 days.
Sure.
Just like give me a week's worth of work, let me hammer down here and just have a couple of grueling days, and then I get to take the rest of the week off and pay me for the week.
Listen, we're just making these are great ideas. We've just got to put together a plan. We've got to go to management. We've got to make it happen.
All right, exactly.
I kind of dig this. If you're eating healthy, like so many of us claim to do, attempt to do, and then give up trying to do, there's probably been a little bit of kale in your life lately. How about this story? How about kale? Like, is there anything healthier than kale?
It's seaweed, right?
It just blew up like in the last decade where suddenly everybody's obsessed with kale. A new study has found that kale is covered in what is called forever chemicals.
There you go.
Compounds that don't break down quickly. Sometimes they take 1,000 years. These are tiny little compounds. They can get into the air, into the water, eventually our bodies. Researchers looked at 8 kale samples from grocery stores in the U.S., and 7 of them had, quote, disturbing amounts of forever chemicals on them.
Kale, you bastard.
What kind of duplicitous backstabber is kale?
I know. It just makes you wonder how healthy all that healthy food really is, because it's been produced by humans. We screw up everything along the way. We put genetically modified stuff in there. Don't get started on me, farmers. Every time I bring that up, someone emails me how wrong I am and what an idiot I am. I already know that, all right?
That could be any subject.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it does happen with any subject and every subject that I bring up. So you don't have to point it out. It's already been said by someone smarter than you.
By the way, the organic kale they tested had the most forever chemicals.
Yeah, right. Wow. Stop trying to eat healthy. Knock it off.
Yeah, it's just a new trend. There was a study the FDA did a few years ago that showed kale to not have this. Now they do. They're like, well, something's changed in the last few years. And yeah, it's probably because people recognized that kale was selling like hotcakes and realized, well, then let's get even more of it. Let's grow it faster and bigger and stronger. And how do we do that? We just throw a bunch of chemicals on there.
Right, exactly. You have to grow it yourself, and no one's doing that. Well, maybe pot here starting August 1st.
Oh, that's right.
And start growing pot August 1st.
Yeah, well, that's something to look forward to. Sit back with a bowl of kale and start growing weed.
I haven't kept a cactus alive. They said you couldn't kill a cactus. I killed a cactus.
Is that true?
Yeah, I did. You do have to give them a little bit of care, I guess. You can't keep it, right, in a drawer.
My cousin was gifted a cactus, a tiny little cactus in a little tiny plastic thing. He was given this as a housewarming present when he moved to Nashville in 2014, and for a year he added a little bit of water like once a week. And after a year, he picked it up and realized it was plastic.
Oh, he did not.
That's true story.
That's funny.
True story. Like it never grew.
Yeah.
It just, that little water would just kind of seep slowly into the thing and all this. He had it going for a year. And
was he also growing pot, perhaps?
He had back in the day had blend. Wow. This is the same guy who the first time he ever did mushrooms, I was looking at him and he seemed a little concerned. He was staring at his hands and I said, "Are you okay?" And he went, "All I've got is thumbs."
Oh my God!
He looked at his hands and just saw 10 thumbs. I was like, "Nope, you just got 2, bud. That's the mushrooms." No,
the cactus thing kind of makes sense though.
Yeah,
because you're not supposed to touch a cactus.
Yeah, it's just up on the windowsill, getting sun all the time. He's just putting a little water in like once a week. He thought, "Well, I'm keeping this bad boy going."
All of his 10 thumbs, and not one of them were green.
That's exactly right. That's how that works.
You should, Tony. You seem like you could grow plants, but you have kids. Candace, you seem like you could grow plants. Why don't you grow me some pot?
Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Nice. I appreciate you jumping in there.
Thank you.
We did mention earlier in the show, there's a couple things about beer. There's a big TikTok trend now where people are tanning themselves. They're saying if you pour beer, especially a very hoppy beer, on your body, then the hops help your body to produce more melanin. You will tan better. That's not true. Everybody that knows anything about tanning is like, stop it. You're being ridiculous. It is true, and I did want to mention this. And I just had someone tell me this the other day. You can freshen up like mildewy smelling laundry with some vodka. You can use vodka for that. You just like those little, those musty, the smell of like a thrift store purchase, that musty.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you got it in there. Just put equal parts high-proof vodka with water in a spray bottle. It's a totally neutral deodorizer. It'll totally take care of that. Yeah.
Sure. One in the mouth, one on the garment. Yeah.
You can do that. You can also repel insects with vodka.
Oh.
Spray a little vodka directly on yourself. And apparently insects do not care for that specific type of alcohol.
Now, I'm being serious when I ask. What if you just drank the vodka while you were outside in the mosquitoes? It doesn't work inside out, just
don't know.
Your pores.
Right.
Don't know. We can certainly test this. We can try it out if you want to. If you just want to go for it and see what happens.
This weekend, you and me, vodka in our spray bottles.
We're just gonna vodka ourselves up, aren't we? I'm very happily right now on the wagon. Just let it be known. We had a little miscue on Monday night at the Gorman household.
Miscue.
It was a miscue. I don't look. It's one thing to get drunk. It's another thing to get accidentally drunk.
Yeah.
At this age, come on.
To overserve yourself.
It's just so embarrassing. We didn't even have friends over. We're just sitting around watching a movie.
That's all right.
Watching a show. And then next thing you know, I'm spinning. True story. Not because the guy fell asleep at the Tilt-A-Whirl. Because Stevie fell asleep at the Tilt-A-Whirl.
All right.
And speaking of, we've had crazy things happen on airplanes. We've been over-serving ourselves. We've had all kinds of things we're talking about today. And I just wanted to throw it out there. Don't know how it ends, but there's a new show on Apple TV called Hijack with Idris Elba.
Okay.
Stringer Bell from The Wire, and then the guy who played Luther, the British detective Luther, is an actor. If you don't know him, you know him. Pretty good, I got to say. He's a negotiator. He's on a plane. Some things happen. The show's called Hijack. You can probably put it together. But a few episodes in, we're very enthusiastic. Thumbs up right now. Just throwing that out there. Nice unsolicited recommendation for a little high stakes intrigue.
Apple TV.
Yeah.
Well, I know, Zep, you like sci-fi. There's a very cool sci-fi show on Apple TV called Silo. Just whale through the first season.
That is on my list of things apparently I'm never going to watch. The list is long, but I want to binge that one now too. And you guys got started on Black Mirror, for crying out loud.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It took a little while for that first episode to hook me. I was like, I'm going to bail. But they're independent episodes. But that's pretty damn good.
Excellent.
All right, Silo on Apple TV.
Yeah, I see Silo every time we pull up Apple TV. It's right there, and it says and we talked about this the other night, and it's like up next, episode 2, and we're like, did we watch episode 1? We have no recollection of watching it. Someone did. Maybe one of the kids watched it on our account, but it's one of those you've been watching too much TV when you're like, have we even seen that? I don't even know.
It tells you what you've been watching, and I didn't. Did you? No, you didn't. And
yeah, I had I got COVID early on when people were getting when it was still fashionable in 2020.
Yeah,
and I apparently I was sick for 2 weeks. It was pretty rough, and there was a week where I couldn't sleep, but I was exhausted.
Yeah.
It felt like being really jet lagged. Like that was my major symptom. And at the end of that, as I came out of it, I looked on Netflix, and I had apparently, while in isolation, watched not one but 2 seasons of a show called Virgin River. And I had no recollection of what it was. And then when I pulled it up, I was like, oh, yeah, I've totally seen these people. But I watched like 20 episodes of a show over the course of like 3 or 4 days. No, and I was like, oh, that's Tim Matheson from Animal House, and yeah, he's in this. He's a doctor, but I didn't remember anything else about it. And when I watched it with a clear head, it's just like watching a soap opera. I mean, it's like General Hospital or something.
Right.
Clearly watched all of it. Probably was emotionally invested. Right. Not one bit of it retained in my brain.
Well, that could be a COVID thing, too. I spent like 3 days in a beanbag when I had COVID. You never get into a beanbag. I got into a bean. I thought maybe I'll feel better if I crawl into the beanbag. And I didn't get out for 3 days. By the way, just to digress, but get back to this roller coaster over in Wisconsin that was stuck upside down for 3 hours. Tracy chimed in on the KQ Facebook page. She was there Sunday, July 2nd, for the coaster you're talking about. They were on hour 4. We said 3 hours upside down, but they were on hour 4 when we left and still had 2 people they still needed to get down. The reason it took so long to get everyone off that coaster, the Crandon Fire Department didn't have a ladder truck. They had to call around and find one.
Oh, man.
Yeah, suckwad.
Boy, that's going to be the new hoop to jump through for a traveling carnival. Before you said, does your fire department have a giant ladder truck?
Yeah, it looks like
no reason. We just like them. Oh no, we're not concerned about our rides. No, we just the carnies just love ladders.
Hey, what if they had one of those fire things where they'd hold them? The old days they used to bounce them off the old trampoline where they would catch them.
Sure,
just unbuckle yourself. One of those deals. Maybe they didn't have one of those either. They need to have a fundraiser there in Crandon for the fire department.
Got to make that happen.
The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.